Hello and welcome back to Larissa's Kitchen. Over the next 2 days, we are going to be making a staple in your dinner party repertoire, Italian beef sandwiches. Okay, the ingredients for this are fairly simple, and the whole cooking method is fairly simple too. It is going to take you a bit of time, so you are going to need to prepare for this. Alright, we are going to need 1 eye of the round roast. Now I think this is around 5 pounds. Anywhere between 4 and 6 would be good. You'll need some dried oregano, some kosher salt. This is an entire bulb of smashed and peeled garlic, black pepper, and beef stock. Now we're going to be roasting this for about 3 hours, so we want to make sure that we have enough liquid. We're only going to be putting it up about 1 inch onto the meat, but we want to make sure that we have enough liquid that we don't lose any of that during the roasting process. So first things first, we need to clean up this beef. Okay, this eye of the round has a big fat cap on it. This is all going to need to come off, along with any of this silver skin that you see on here. This is going to end up cooking up and still being quite tough when we go to cut it. So let's go ahead and get this all cut off. Okay, now I've got this where this fat cap used to be, that side down. So now we're going to cut into it every little bit, and then we're going to stick an entire clove of garlic down in this meat. Okay, now this, we're going to go ahead and put in the roasting pan. Okay, now we get to the spices. So we're going to go ahead and cover this with salt. And yes, I washed my hands. Okay, and the same thing with oregano. I will probably put about 1/4 cup of oregano on this entire piece of meat. Somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2. Alright, and pepper. And yes, I did wash my hands in between. Alright, I'm guessing that was about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of crushed black pepper in here. Okay, and now we need to put about an inch worth of liquid in here. So I'm using beef broth. Now we don't want to boil this, but we do want it to be wet roasted. So that's why we're only doing about an inch. All right, that's about a half of an inch. Okay, now we're going to cover this, and it's going in a 350-degree oven for 3 hours. Okay, make sure this is nice and tight. Okay, this entire thing, the meat and all the juice in there needs to come to room temperature, and then it's going to go in the refrigerator overnight. All right, it's now time to cut up this beef. Now we need to cut this as thinly as possible, so if you own an electric knife, this is definitely the time to get it out. Okay, this is cooked perfectly, by the way, and as thin as you can manage. Alright, once you get down to the point where it becomes too dangerous to hold on to this, then just start cutting it across this way and that'll be fine too. Alright, all of this needs to go in a large pan. Now, all of this cooking liquid is going to go in here on top also. Okay, this is a 32-ounce quart of pepperoncinis in their liquid. We're going to add the entire thing to this pan. Okay, all this is going over at the stove on medium-low heat. Okay, we don't want this to heat too quickly. That's why it's on over medium-low heat. We also want to make sure that we get it stirred up. These Italian beef sandwiches are a lot like the Carolina-style pork barbecue sandwiches. They're made with a lot of liquid and meat, not a lot of thick sauce. So we're going to need a sturdy bread to hold these sandwiches together. That's why I'm using another ciabatta baguette. Okay, these have been cut up into pieces, and now we're just going to go ahead and cut them in half. Okay, the reason why you want to heat this very slowly is because once this starts boiling, these slices will tend to shred rather than to stay whole. So unless you want to eat this as soup, you need to heat it on low heat. Okay, let's get these sandwiches put together. Now you could dip these, but these are very thin, so I'd probably burn myself. So I'm just going to do the next best thing, which is to put a little bit on here with a ladle. Okay, and then we don't want to load these sandwiches up too much. They'll be hard to eat. Okay, now if you're like my son, you'll put your pepperoncinis on your sandwich, but I actually like mine next to my sandwich. All right, let's get this over and give it a taste. All right, let's give this sandwich a taste. Oh my heavens, this is so good. Carolina style sandwiches. No, they're Italian beef.